Hello friends and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Y'all, we just received some gorgeous shrubs from our friends at Proven Winners ColorChoice Shrubs. Some of these are brand new introductions that I'm excited to try. Some of them are going to give us flowers, unique berries. It is going to be fantastic fragrance, and some of these are going to be a test because you know me, I do love to push the limits on my shrubs. So I know these are going to go into the gardens here at Creekside Nursery this fall, but honestly, I really don't have a clue exactly where they are going to go. In the coming weeks, you will help me figure that out, but I am excited to share these 10 shrubs with you that are making their way home to here at Creekside Nursery Gardens. All right, my friends, I am a sucker for a gorgeous Japanese maple. So let me introduce to you Metamorphosa. This is a Japanese maple from Proven Winners. This is in a gallon-sized container, and y'all, she is already quite the beauty. Look at that. Yes, my friends, this is going to be an Acer palmatum, and it is going to be a great fit for my North Carolina Zone 8A garden. It is hardy in zones 5B to 8. So knowing that it's hardy to a zone 8, I'm going to probably want to give this some afternoon shade. Definitely great morning sun up to maybe like 2 o'clock, but then from 2 o'clock on, find it a nice little shady spot. You can keep Metamorphosa in a more of a small kind of a shrub type size, or if you want to let it go into a tree, you can do that because the range is 5 to 13 feet tall by 3 to 10 wide. Now, if you're in that sweet spot for this Japanese maple, then obviously it's going to get bigger. If you're too cold or if maybe you're too hot, it's going to stay a little bit more petite. But we're going to love this because of the foliage. It is just a very lacy leaf that goes from yellow in the spring to the summer variegation to fiery red orange in the fall. That is why we love Japanese maples. And as the name suggests, it is going to change and just give us a beautiful 3 seasons of color, great structure to add to your garden. Very excited about this, and this is not a grafted Japanese maple. Some people will ask if they are grafted. It is not. It is on its own rootstock. So Metamorphosa, I have one. She's going to be a specimen somewhere and just make a highlight out of that garden wherever she ends up. We've talked about it before, how an evergreen shrub can really carry a garden throughout the entire year. Well, let me introduce to you this cutie patootie. This is Jade Turtle, and Jade Turtle is a cherry laurel. This is going to be basically like a 3x3 evergreen shrub. Y'all, it has the coolest leaves on it. Very glossy, nice kind of rounded habit to it. You can see it's got beautiful new growth on it. Hardy in zones 6 to 9, can handle sun to part shade. So Proven Winner ColorChoice Shrubs, they recommend this, that you would use this for like borders, mass plantings, a hedging. This would be a great option as a foundation planting up against your house if you want that beautiful evergreen look, but maybe you don't like boxwoods, right? So this is going to be a great one for you. I think that we're going to put, because we have 5 of these sweet babies. So I'm going to have to really assess my gardens to look to see where do I need some nice evergreen structure. Not really buying this for the flowers, rather. You are buying it for foliage and year-round structure. So Jade Turtle, oh, I am loving this cutie patootie. If you have been with me at any length of time in the garden, you should know that I do love a bit of whimsy. Whether it's garden art, you know, whatever it may be, that includes plants. Plants can be whimsical too. So if you are not familiar with Whip It Good, let me introduce that to you. Y'all, this is such a fun plant. So Whip It Good is going to be a type of Arborvitae. Can you see how that fine foliage, right? And it just is so cool. Now, Whip It Good is obviously, since it's an Arborvitae, is going to give us evergreen structure. there's not going to be one flower on this plant. I do not care because this is so cool. Now, Whip It Good is going to be basically a 3 to 5 tall and wide. It is hardy in zones 3 to 8, so extremely cold hardy. Because of its nature, its growth habit, I would encourage you to give it plenty of room to grow. This is going to be a shrub you don't want to prune, which I love that. If I don't have to prune it and maintain it, then that is even better. We saw Whip It Good as a mature plant last year when we visited Spring Meadow Nursery, and Dr. Judson LeCompte was showing us this plant in the landscape at the Trial Gardens. Absolutely gorgeous and fun. This is going to need anywhere, depending on your zone, right? So if you're in a zones 3 through 7, absolutely could do full all-day sun. When you start to go into zones maybe 8, if you give it a break in the afternoon, there you go. I currently do not have Whip It Good in the garden, so this is why I love bringing these plants in. Let me put them in my landscape so that way, especially for my southern folks with our heat, humidity, and the long growing season that we have, I can recommend, okay, this is what I did and it was a great success, or this is what I did and it was a complete failure, or somewhere in between. I like to share that knowledge with you so that maybe I can pass on a little bit of knowledge so that you don't have to have that same learning curve that I do. But Whip It Good is going to be so fun. This is the coolest plant. Even Mimi's excited about this one. And if you know if Mimi's excited, then it's got to be a great plant. You know I am a sucker for a beautiful, fragrant rose. Well, we have got 3 of the Reminiscent Ginger rose. Y'all, this rose smells divine. It is gorgeous, and it is going to be about 2 to 3 tall, 3 to 4 wide. So I love the habit on it. It's gonna be more of like a little gumdrop than it is going to be upright. Hardy in zones 4 to 9, so extremely versatile. Now, your roses, they do love the full sun, so you need to give them a minimum of that 6 hours. And the flowers on Reminiscent Ginger, they are gonna blend some orange, yellow, cream, gold, all of that together. Of course, they are highly fragrant. It is a rebloomer. It blooms on new wood like your roses do, and it does not require deadheading for continuous blooms. So with this shape and size, this kind of shrub is going to scream cottage garden for me, right? So I'm going to want to put it in an area that is kind of up close where I can see it, where I can smell it, where I can get to it and cut those flowers, put them in a little bud vase and bring the beauty back indoors, right? So Reminiscent Ginger is going to be really fun. With your roses, they do tend to be heavy feeders, so we're going to have to make sure that we feed this regularly during the growing season with that slow release fertilizer like Rose Tone. And then because it blooms on new growth, new wood, come late winter, and even for me, that could be like late January, early February, we're gonna wanna prune it, right? We wanna prune our roses so that they put on that beautiful new growth, because new growth means lots and lots of flowers. So Reminiscent Ginger is going to be great in the garden. Now, if any of these shrubs kind of catch your eye and you're like, ooh, that would be cool to add to my garden, we currently have an online special that all the shrubs are 33% off. So you can head over to the website, go grab any of these that pique your interest for 33% off. I'll put all the details on the screen for you, because honestly, right now, I don't remember. All right, now remember how I told you that some of these were going to be a little bit of an experiment for me? Well, here we go. Let me introduce to you the Pink Pony Elderberry. Now, Pink Pony is pretty new on the market. She is gorgeous in the fact of she's got some nice big leaves, and then look at all of that new growth. Now, the reason that Pink Pony is going to be an experiment for me is because we are North Carolina, a Zone 8A, and she is only going to be hardy from the Proven Winners records is in zones 4 to 7. Elderberries typically can be challenging to grow with our heat and humidity. But this is why I love having such a great relationship with Proven Winner ColorChoice Shrubs, is because I can test this plant out. I can see if I put it in the right spot, how is it going to do? Now, Pink Pony, so for those of you that are like, oh yeah, I'm a zone 5, I absolutely can do this. These are the specs for you. Hardy in zones 4 to 7, like I said, 6 to 10 tall and wide. The light requirements on this is going to be full sun to part sun. Now, the thing, because of me being in the South with my heat and humidity, even Proven Winners says if you're in the more hotter, warmer zones like I am, you're not going to get possibly that same intense, deep, rich purple foliage on it. So maybe it ages out a little bit to be a little bit more green, which is kind of what we're seeing right now. But the Pink Pony gets its name, of course, because of those beautiful pink blooms on it. So this would be an amazing, cool specimen plant, or if you wanted to do a hedge, of course it is going to be deciduous, but this would be a really interesting, fun specimen to add to the garden. That is how I am going to use it. So we're going to test this out in the back of the Proven Winner signature garden. We're going to put it in an area that's going to get some like morning shade, filtered sun, maybe a little bit of afternoon sun, but mostly it's going to be a filtered sun area. So we're going to give it a whirl, right? You never know unless you try. So we're going to give it a try. Of course, I will absolutely keep you updated on the months, years coming ahead as to how it does. But I just say gardening is one big science experiment, and you never know unless you try. So Pink Pony, it's going to be a test for me. It's going to be a little experiment, but if you're in those colder zones, this is absolutely a great winner for you. So to continue the experiment, we're going to try another elderberry. Now this gives me completely different shape, leaf structure, everything about it. So just because they're going to be in that same family does not mean they're going to look the same. So this is the laced up elderberry. Can you see how gorgeous the foliage is on this plant? Very, very different than our Pink Pony. I'm going to show you side by side here in a second. Now with your laced up, this is going to be, like I said, it's going to be very upright. So it's going to be in that 6 to 10 tall, but only 3 to 4 wide. So if you have a narrow spot, maybe it's on the side of your house, maybe you have a patio area that you need something taller but more narrow, then this would be a great option for you. That deep, deep black foliage, of course, still hardy in that zones of 4 to 7. An experiment for me, but I am absolutely here for it. Let me show you a side-by-side comparison of the two. Completely different leaf structure. You've got the black lace that is nice and fine. You've got that fine, very serrated foliage, and then you come over to the Pink Pony. Nice big leaves on it, absolutely gorgeous. So, you know, in my opinion, if you're definitely in a great zone for these, just do both. Just put them in different areas of the garden. So again, the laced up is going to go into the signature garden in a little bit of a more protected area so it doesn't get the hot, intense afternoon sun. I don't care about the winter exposure. I'm a zone 8. It can go down to a zone 4. It's fine in my winter. It's my summer that I'm concerned about, but we're going to give it a try. Now, next up, my friends, this is going to be for my native plant lovers, pollinator attractor lovers, fragrant flower lovers, fall foliage lovers. I mean, this is like hitting all of the spots. This is Ripple Effect. The Ripple Effect is a clethra or a Summersweet. Now, if you're a student of Gardening with Creekside, you will know that we have already added some Ripple Effect to the gardens in the back of the signature garden. I am not passing up the opportunity to add more fragrant native pollinator attractor shrubs to the garden. This is a beautiful specimen. It is a 2-gallon. It is gorgeous. Look at all of that beautiful new foliage on it. So basically this is going to be in that 3 to 5 range as far as the size. If you're familiar with like Proven Winners, clethra, or Summersweets, then you may say, well, I already have Vanilla Spice. Why do I want Ripple Effect? Well, Ripple Effect is the new 2027 introduction. So you should start to see these in your garden center, perhaps this fall or in the spring. But Ripple Effect, the difference is going to be the blooms. Where Vanilla Spice boasts those really big blooms that are very upright. Ripple Effect, the blooms are going to be kind of in different angles, different positions. So it is going to give the effect that it is rippling in like the water or the wind, hence how it got its name. But it is still going to be highly fragrant, continue to give those beautiful flowers on new growth, which is great. So that means you can maintain it to whatever size you want and you don't have to worry about cutting off your flowers. Ideally, you're going to want to prune your Ripple Effect late winter, maybe you can either do it right before it starts to put out some new growth or right after. Generally, that's when you want to do it. And then with your Summersweets, you get beautiful fall foliage on them as well. I know that Vanilla Spice gives me bright yellow. And so we're going to get some really fun interest on this for 3 seasons out of the year. Fragrant, native, pollinator attractor. Yes, please, add these to my garden. Next up, we have Berrycape Aronia. This is going to be the shrub, y'all, that earns its keep. This is going to be the one that carries the garden throughout the entire year. Yes, you're going to get really cool berries on it. It is adaptable to some really extreme different growing conditions. So if you've got some tough conditions, then Berrycape is going to be an option for you. And it is going to be much more of a manageable size and easy to maintain than like the native species. So Berrycape Aronia is going to be a great addition where I want to fill in. Where do I want that structure? That is what we're going to add to this. And then of course you get those great berries. I mean, hello, it's right there in the name. So Berrycape Aronia, great one to try out. I do not have any Aronias in the garden, so I'm very excited to see how this one performs and how it carries the garden. Like I said, throughout the year, it'll be a great one to play off of some of the color and the structure with those fun berries. All right, my friends, when I tell you what this plant is, you're gonna go, what? What are you doing? Are you a crazy woman? Well, yeah, I am, but that's beside the point. All right, so let me introduce to you Candybox Chilean Guava. Yes, that is right. I am adding a Chilean guava shrub to my North Carolina Zone 8A garden. It's actually going to be a really great fit for the garden. So this is going to be a nice, fun, really kind of compact evergreen shrub. It is going to be about a 2x3, hardy in zones 7 to 9. I mean, its name does suggest that it's going to be more for the warmer zones, right? It is going to need that full sun, minimum of those 6 hours, and it's going to have the cutest little bell-shaped flowers that then turn into edible fruit. And it is self-fertile. So you can have one of these babies in your garden and you're still going to get the flowers and the fruit followed by it. So, you know, this is not one that I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely going in my garden. I never thought that I'd be adding a Chilean guava to my North Carolina garden, but I am here for it and I am very excited about it. With its nice petite size, it means that it is very versatile and can go just about anywhere. Great for like a hedge, a border, dare I say even a container, as long as you have plenty of heat for it during the wintertime, or just bring it in your garage. So Candybox Chilean Guava, who knew? And last but certainly not least, we are going to be adding barberries. Yes, Sunjoy Toto Barberry. Now, before you come after me in the comments, just settle down, simmer down, and hear me out. Now, people will have some really strong opinions about barberries. Personally, I love them. I think they're amazing. But for those of you that have strong feelings in the negative, let me share with you, okay, Sunjoy Toto. First of all, it is a sterile variety, so we're not going to have millions of little barberries all around the place. Next, do you see what that says? So all of my friends who have to deal with those pesky deer, this is part of the deer-proof line of Proven Winner ColorChoice Shrubs. And Sunjoy Toto, I mean, hello, do you see the color on this? I mean, it is like a deep, deep purple, near black, and it's nice and petite. So it's only going to reach about 2.5 feet tall at its maturity. And as all as all barberries do, it behaves and responds really well to being pruned. Now, Sunjoy Toto is going to be the rare exception of all the plants today because I know exactly where this shrub is going to go. We are going to do a mass planting and create a beautiful hedge behind the retaining wall up at the new potting building. So the reason that I'm so excited about Sunjoy Toto is, one, when we visit the trial gardens at Spring Meadow Nursery, they have got multiple hedges of barberries, and they're stunning. They're gorgeous. This is going to be the perfect size because it's not going to get really tall, right? So it's going to be low growing, and I get this beautiful color because sometimes I struggle with other colors in the garden besides green, right? I need that nice big pop of color. And with the retaining wall being a light gray, this being that really dark purple, it is going to be stunning. And then all the other shrubs, perennials, and trees growing behind it will accent and come above Todo. So if you're looking for a great deer-proof, full of color, sun plant, then consider Sunjoy Toto, or there's a whole line of barberries that are from Proven Winners that are sterile, and they come in a range of colors. Do they have thorns? They do. That makes them the deer-proof. So does my rose. Do I not grow the rose and enjoy that beautiful flower and fragrance just because it has thorns? No. Same thing with the barberry. I want this color. I want the structure. I'm absolutely adding it, and it is going to be stunning in the sun garden up here at production. So these are the 10 new shrubs that I am excited to add to the gardens here at Creekside Nursery. We're going to be planting them in the coming weeks and months because fall is the perfect time, y'all, to be adding shrubs to your garden, especially if you are in those warmer zones. When I say that, I'm talking about like zones 7 and hotter. Now, if you're in a 7A and colder, then this is going to be the ideal time for you, like right now, because you have to worry about the cold of the winter. In the South, we have to worry about the heat of the summer. So fall is a great time to get these shrubs in the ground, get those roots really well and established before next year's summer heat hits. So I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna bring you along for the ride as we plant these babies. But is there one in here that you're excited about that you're like, that would be a really cool plant to add to my garden? If so, put it in the comments below because I love to hear what other people are excited about. As always, we so appreciate you. Thanks so much for watching Garden with Creekside. If you have not subscribed, we would love it. That way you don't miss those 5 videos that we do each and every week. And that way you don't miss me planting these and adding them to the garden because like I said, I got 9 to figure out where they're going to go. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.